It's the Scotty Myers Show.
Hey there, welcome to this week's episode of the show. Hope you're having a fantastic week so far. If I sound just a little off, I've got the tail end of a really bad flu bug that struck my wife and I late last week. Like Friday night, I wanted to die. Somebody needed to old yeller me, take me out behind the barn, and just finish it because I was in rough shape. I know, when we had our vows, my wife and I, it was in sickness and health and all that, but I think she would have really rethought that if she had come upstairs at any point. And I was naked on the bathroom floor, moaning in pain with the toilet open, praying that I would vomit. I think if she had seen that, I'd probably be a single guy right now. It was not a pretty sight. So hopefully your week has been going a bit better than that. Now, last week on the show, I was talking that I had to take my sperm sample in to make sure my vasectomy worked. Well, I took it in, and it was every bit as awkward and as uncomfortable as I thought it was going to be. It's just an odd thing to do. To show up, there's this nice lady there, and it's even just above the window where I handed her the cup. It's a specimen collection. And I was like, yeah, that's what you're getting. A specimen, all right. So if you missed last week, what you have to do is you have to, take care of business at home. There's no place there. And then you have an hour to get it to them. So I give myself the old rub and tug. Thank you, Pornhub. And hop in the car and drive over to get them. Now, from where I'm going, I have to go across a bridge. And, of course, there's an accident on the bridge, which delayed me. So I'm looking at the clock, going, am I going to get there on time? I do, but as I get there, and I hand it to the lady, she goes, oh, it's cold. Well, yeah. I was like, it's not warm outside. And I was like, it's just in the car. I had the heat on, but yeah, she was like, oh, put it under your armpit for a little while. You want me to do what with what? I know it's in a plastic cup, and I did put the lid on tight, but still, it's not like my fingers are cold and I tuck them in my armpits. This is something else entirely that you want me to tuck in a body cavity. So, I mean, I did. I didn't really have much else of a choice. So I did that while I was filling out the little bit of paperwork. And she was like, I handed it back to her, and she looked at me like, still not really warm. And I was like, not really a microwave, So I don't know if it's going to work. There's an entire chance that I'm going to have to go through this whole embarrassing experience yet again. All because it's cold outside, like Mother Nature. So what's going to happen next time if I have to do this? And here's a little tip for you if you do have to deliver a sample somewhere. However you're transporting it, sit on it like you're a mother hen, just to make sure that you keep it warm. Because you don't want to be sitting there standing with everybody looking at you while you've got it tucked in your armpit. Makes things very, very weird. I probably also didn't help the matter of making things awkward and weird because I felt so weird about it. I was like, well, I'm giving her this thing as, man yogurt that I know she doesn't want. I might as well bring along something that maybe she would like. So I brought her along a coffee too. And she kind of looked at me like, no, thank you. I'm good. I just felt like it'd be wrong of me to show up empty-handed. I thought I should have something more to offer than just my seed. Hopefully my non-existent seed. But anyway, so now I'm just waiting for the results. We shall see. Hopefully the cold didn't screw up the tests, as I don't want to go through that again. Now, in scandalous news of the week, it came out, thanks to Mel B, that one night Mel B and Jerry of the Spice Girls, Ginger Spice and Scary Spice, apparently one night they had sex. Which, listen, there is not a boy of the 90s that did not think about this at some point. At least two of the Spice Girls together, if not all five, in a pillow fight with lingerie. I'm not saying that ever crossed my mind. I'm just saying I've heard of things like that happening. But yeah, crazy that she would come out with this now. And it's such a kind of risky thing for her to say because they've got this reunion on the way. And sharing something like this could definitely put a massive wrench in the plans of the reunion because this could really upset Jerry. You know, she's married and whatnot. Apparently Mel C was in the audience when Mel B broke this news and was apparently visibly horrified at the revelation. But according to Mel B, it just happened. Apparently, she said that Jerry had great boobs and that it was fun. And she hopes that Jerry doesn't deny it when she's asked about it, which I'm sure she will be ad nauseum. There are not enough questions for someone that grew up in that era. There are not enough possible details that we can get about this. Forget the Mueller report. I want a report on this evening on my desk by Monday morning. Full, detailed report. Because this is the information that the world needs to know. You know what? I shouldn't be shocked. They were living the rock star lifestyle. They were the biggest thing on the planet. Whether you like them or not, there was a point in time where there was no bigger entertainment act on the planet than the Spice Girls. Now, I'm just thinking, if the reunion goes well and they make it like a Spice World 2, include this. Go all 50 shades of Spice and just give us what we want to see on the big screen if you make a Spice World 2, which, based on this story, I think should be fast-tracked into production immediately. Now, speaking of movies, it's time for a movie review for a flick that comes out April 5th that I was lucky enough to see already, and that is Shazam. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast, you know I've been very excited about this movie. I thought the previews looked fantastic, and I can't really bury the lead on this. The film is phenomenal. It has a little bit of everything, really. It's got some horror elements to it. It definitely has some great action, really good storytelling, a lot of heart. There's some real funny moments, but it is mostly just fun. And that's kind of the key with it. I was watching it with a big, goofy smile on my face the whole time. And the Shazam Marvel family is not something that I read a lot of. I read Shazam more when he would show up in Justice League and that. But this movie does a great job not only building Shazam and his powers and who he is as a character, but they also do a great job building the villain, Dr. Savannah, played by Mark Strong. Now, this guy, one of my favorite actors going. He's so good, and he usually does get cast in villainous type roles. It's because he's so damn good at them. The one thing that did bug me watching him being this fantastic villain in Shazam was that we never got to see him become the villainous Sinestro in the Green Lantern movie. This is his second go-around with a DC flick. I think this one is going to fare much better than Green Lantern, but I so wanted to see that Green Lantern sequel with him as Sinestro. Maybe they'll let him be Sinestro again, too. I don't know, because he's perfect for it. But they really get the villain's motivations across. You understand why he's doing what he's doing, and it's not out of this world. He's not trying to, do something that makes no sense. It's a very personal quest that he's on. At least that's how it starts out. And the whole cast, though, really gets this amazing feelings in the movie across. Like Zachary Levi as Big Shazam, Big Billy Batson, is perfect. He really is. He encompasses being a child in a man's body that also has superpowers. It really is the story that every kid wanted to have come true. Like every kid was like, oh, if only I could just, click my fingers or say a word and ta-da, I would be a superhero. That's what happens in this movie. And it's just so much fun. I really can't stress that enough. I smiled throughout the whole movie. Even thinking about it now and thinking about scenes in the film makes me smile yet again. And I would love to go into individual scenes and individual characters and really break down what happens in the movie, but I don't want to spoil it for you. It's not out till April 5th. I highly recommend you go and see it as soon as you can, because it's definitely worth the price of admission. One thing I did love about this movie is it lives in the world where Batman and Superman, they exist. So you have these kids that are fully aware of superheroes. And that plays really well when you have Billy Batson trying to figure out what to be as a superhero, because he's seen superheroes. He's seen Aquaman and Batman and Wonder Woman and Superman. He's seen all these people. And so he kind of knows what to do, but he doesn't exactly know how to go about doing it. But he does have these kind of role models that he's looked up to and that the other kids around him have looked up to. And it fits really well in that world. And I know DC has kind of come out and said that they're focusing on individual stories and they're not looking at doing any massive team-ups anytime soon. But I really want to see Shazam with the Justice League. I really did. Just part of me, Shazam and Jason Momoa's Aquaman on screen together, talking back and forth. Even just them getting a coffee. Come on. We watch the Avengers get shawarma. We can watch Aquaman and Shazam get coffee. It's all I want to see. Or Flash. And the characters that they've already built in the DC film universe, I want to see them interact with this Shazam because he's so fun. So I'm hoping that happens on some level. I think this movie is going to do exceptionally well by word of mouth. Everybody that's walking out of the theater was talking about how much fun they had and how much they enjoyed the movie. So I think Shazam is going to do very, very well. And hopefully DC sticks to their plan and we get the Black Adam movie with The Rock. And then eventually we get a Shazam sequel that may be Shazam and Black Adam going at it, which would be fantastic to see on the big screen as well. So I really wish I could spoil it for you, but I'm not going to. Totally spoiler free. I don't want to ruin Shazam for anybody. All I know is it comes out April 5th. I'm counting down to see it again like I haven't seen it. That's how much I want to see this movie a second time on the big screen. So make sure you check it out. If you've lost touch with that kid inside you, I think Shazam is the movie that will help you rediscover them. All right, I know that was a little bit geeky, but we're going to get into the geek news proper now. Lots of geek news. There always is, right? This one is a dream job for a lot of people. There is a company out there called CableTV.com, and they are looking for someone to binge watch their way through every Marvel Cinematic Universe movie without stopping. Now, if you're selected, they will pay you $1,000 and hook you up with a boatload of Marvel swag. Now, this is, of course, all in anticipation of Avengers Endgame, which comes out on April 25th. The 20-movie marathon does not include Captain Marvel because it's still in theaters, so you can't watch that at home. Although if you wanted to add the 21st movie to the list, go right ahead. But you're looking at more than 40 hours of viewing inside the MCU. It doesn't say if you can take a nap or anything like that. A couple of the movies will probably put you to sleep. I'm looking at you, Incredible Hulk. I'm looking at you, Thor, Dark World. So if you space those out well, then, hey, there's your Z's right there. You have to get your application in by April 15th, just a little bit before the April 26th premiere of Avengers Endgame. Now, you have to be at least 18 years of old, and you have to write a 200-word essay on why you're the person for the job to stress and watch every Marvel movie leading up to Endgame. So if you think you're up for it, submit your application now, again, at CableTV.com. Over in the DC Cinematic Universe, Zack Snyder has been talking a lot recently about his time behind DC movies. He was hosting an event called the Director's Cut, where they play filmmakers' films, and the filmmaker is there to talk about them. Now, most of the people in the audience wanted to talk to Zack about his time making, Man of Steel or Justice League. And he was pretty forthcoming with a few things. When he was pressed on why his Batman killed, he gave a profound, or I should say a profanity-laden response where he was just basically saying, well, of course he's going to fucking kill. I'm really paraphrasing there, but it's also one of my bones that people have with that movie, that Batman kills, because if you go through the other Batman films, he has killed in the past as well. You know, the Tim Burton ones he kills, the Christopher Nolan ones he's killed people. So it seemed a little unfair to pick on Batman versus Superman for that. If you have other issues with the movie, so be it, but that seems like kind of a weak one to hang your hat on. The most interesting thing, though, that Zack said was a lot of people were chanting release the Snyder Cut in reference to Justice League, and somebody asked him if it existed, and he basically said that it does and that it's finished. We were always under the impression that he didn't finish his version of Justice League, but according to Zack at this event, he said it's finished and it's totally up to Warner Brothers if they ever want to release it. Now, Warner Brothers has been very adamant that they are not going to release a Snyder Cut, but all they have to do is really sit down and think about this for a second. They were not happy with the box office take of Justice League. They were a little disappointed with it. Why not release the Snyder Cut? It's not going to cost you a lot of money in the grand scheme of things to release it, and that's more money you can make off Justice League. Especially now when people are clamoring to see the Snyder Cut, even just out of curiosity. Release it in theaters for 1 or 2 night affair. A lot of people would go check it out. So I get that they're trying to distance themselves from Zack Snyder's vision for the DC film universe, but I also think they're just leaving some money on the table at this point. And let us see it. If it is really finished, let us see the Snyder Cut. Star Wars Celebration is right around the corner. It's just a couple weeks away, and we're going to get a lot of news out of this if the rumors are true. We're going to find out the title of Episode 9. We're probably going to see the trailer for Episode 9, and we're also going to get some confirmation on some more Star Wars TV shows, and possibly confirmation on the Obi-Wan project. Now, a lot of people hoping that they're going to make an Obi-Wan standalone movie with Ewan McGregor, kind of like they did with Solo and Rogue One. But now the latest rumor says that the Obi-Wan thing could be a TV show on the upcoming Disney Plus streaming service. No word yet on if they could get Ewan McGregor for a TV show. I would be crossing my fingers that they could, but Obi-Wan does have a lot of stories to tell, so I actually think a TV show would fit him better than just a single movie. You know, a single movie would tell us one Obi-Wan story. This show could tell us many. So it is Disney. It's not like their pockets are shallow. They definitely could, pay Ewan McGregor to be the star of an Obi-Wan TV show. So I'm really hoping that they pony up and get him and that the show is good, because so far the clips and images that they've shown of the Mandalorian TV show that they're making for the Disney Plus service looks fantastic. So it looks like there's a lot of quality Star Wars stuff headed our way thanks to Disney's streaming service. And of course, I'll have all the details on the news coming out of Star Wars Celebration as soon as it comes available. And if you're a huge fan of Game of Thrones, you may want to pick up the latest tie-in product, and that would be Game of Thrones Monopoly. Yes, they have released a board game of Monopoly based on Game of Thrones. It's a limited edition. It's out there now. You can order it, of course, like Amazon, things like that. And it makes perfect sense, because I don't know if you've ever played Monopoly with your family. By the end of it, and nobody ever finishes a game of Monopoly, by the way, but by the end of your playing time, you want to kill your family members anyway. So this tie-in with Game of Thrones makes absolute perfect sense. The winner is not whoever has all the money at the end. It's the only one that survives the Red Wedding. That'll do it for this week's episode of the show. Thanks again for subscribing and rating us and reviewing us on iTunes and Spotify and Google Play Music, all those things. If you haven't given us a rating review yet, please do so, and keep subscribing and sharing the social media. Of course, you can contact us via social media at Scotty Mars on Twitter, at The Scotty Mars Show on Instagram, and The Scotty Mars Show on Facebook. And you can also catch us on blasttheradio.com on Thursday mornings. Until we talk again, have a great week.